Are we? Yes. Okay. Welcome to another bright edition of Cricket Vana. We have some of the Vanaras here. Somu, Vinay. We have a we have an intermittent guest today. We're fortunate to have Shankar Shastri here with us, and of course Sridhara always there, and myself Kashyap. So as we know, we are going to talk about India's tour down under that is wrapping up. It will be wrapped up by the time we meet again next week. The last test has just started. The second session has just begun. Australia, after
Two
winning
down 72.
2 for 72. We'll get to that Indian team later. But before that, I want to talk about the main topic of today, which is the third test in Sydney. Sydney has always produced some of the memorable for sure, if not more friendlier result, or happy memories. May not be happy memories for India. I mean, in many ways, but not this time. It was one of the greatest draws you can ever watch, and to talk about that, like I said, we have Somo, Vinay, and Shankar with us. I have, if you are watching, I have in my background the four heroes of that match: Cheteshwar Pujara, Hanuma Vihari, Ravi Ashwin, and Rishabh Pant. Like it or not, Rishabh Pant was a hero on that day. Uh, and so we were just talking about it, that it was, if you just look at the scorecard, you will say that must have been one of the most insignificant, boring, inconsequential day in a test cricket's life. But it wasn't. It was anything but. If you had watched it, and I suggest everybody go watch it if you are a test lover. And like I said, even if you're not a test lover, watch it and you will fall in love with test cricket. It was that kind of a day where runs didn't matter. Finally, wickets didn't matter.
Survival mattered.
It was all about the limbs and the back and hamstrings and um, uh, all the other resilience and patience and grit and guts and everything else came into matter, but runs and wickets. And
Yes.
only 3 wickets fell. First wicket fell on in the first over. So
First over.
imagine that. So only 2 wickets fell in the next 96 overs of the day, and not many runs were scored until Rishabh Pant got out. It was amazing to, we were seeing a lot of runs, but then it just boiled down to, I think the final session was what, 50, less than 50 runs were scored, no wickets. And between the four bowlers that were bowling all day, they have close to 700 or 800 wickets between them, and they were able to get only 3 wickets of a second string Indian team, if I must add. And I mean, now there is there is even more inexperienced team that's going to play this final test, but we'll get to that again later. So on that note, there's so much to talk about it. Somo, want to kickstart
Yeah.
Sydney test?
Yeah. I'm going to repeat myself again. As I said,
Yes.
for a purist like me, that's the best cricket that I've ever watched for a very long time. Because in this day and age, after the IPL, people were talking about shortening the test cricket to 4 days. You know what? That's not going to happen. That should not happen, because this fifth day in Sydney proved everything plus more. What it means to be playing a first-class cricket, and especially a test cricket, especially in Australia. It has so many factors into it. As I said, when we started this Cricket Vana, I think all of us, myself, Vinay, and Kashyap, had conversation about T20, how great the cricket is, how great. Yeah, with it. Then probably since I'm the older of the generation here with playing cricket, probably in the
Farthest from
early.
T20.
Yeah. No, I never played T20 anyway.
Yeah.
So having said that, that is probably the best form of cricket I've ever seen. And we have played with older cricketers, the Vishwanaths of the industry. Those are the Gavaskars of the industry. So having said that, that is the best form of cricket, in my opinion. That showed. And what it did that day, that the character of two players who can grit it out. That's important. Scoring a quick 50 or quick 30, quick 40, yeah, you can do that, especially in T20 when the field placements are a little different than Test cricket, and that can be done. But this showed the true character of a cricketer who can stay in and play and get it out and save the country. What it meant was two players from T to the end of the day saved India a cricket match which otherwise they would have lost. I think probably they would have lost on the first over itself if people were talking about it. I think that's what it is. I think we can talk more about it. I'm sure the other three, four in the panel would probably want to put their own, thoughts into it. And let me give them an opportunity, and then we'll come back.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and like I was telling you the other day, I mean, these are the kind of days that I live for. I think the Test cricket is what. I mean, and again, I'm not against T20 at all. I mean, I love IPL. It has many other benefits than just runs and wickets and money. But more than that, I think this Test cricket. I've been following forever, and especially India beating or like coming on top of Australia is my number one goal. I know more than Pakistan, probably slightly more than the World Cup. I would say, like beating Australia in Australia, nothing trumps that for me as a cricketer.
Yeah, I mean, especially for for us, I mean, I've played
yeah, watching them,
T20 as well.
They've set such a high standard in Australia.
Correct.
There's
then
never been a poor Australian team, right? I mean,
correct. Having watched the Dravid Lakshman, come back in Calcutta, and then them coming back to Australia and beating it. This is probably the closest I would say for any, like Somo said, for cricket lovers and cricket purists. It clearly showed how much value Test cricket still has, number one. And number two, it showed that it is not all about just bang, bang, get some runs and then go home. It showed that you can have to put a price for your wicket, and why there is a reason for Test cricket to even have the concept of a draw. It is like people playing soccer or whatever game, and they go away with 1-1 or 0-0, and still people call it a great game. Mm-hmm. This to me was an equivalent. Exactly. And if there is a list of top 100 or whatever, this would be in that list, quite up in the scales.
Exactly. Yeah. To me, draw is a result as well. I mean, I don't call it no result. For many, I mean, yes, I mean, if it rained out and there is not enough time to play the game, then fine. But this is a result. Draw is a result, which it's very hard to explain it to others. But all right, let's come back to the test cricket as a whole in a little bit later. Vinod, Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney, the best part was right from the beginning of the test match, there was something to be positive about it. Generally, so it was surprising that how many people were positive about it. Right? They were just hoping to see some result out of it.
Sorry, Vinod, you are muted.
Mute.
I heard some crosstalk. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So Sydney was very interesting. I think one good thing about Sydney was somehow, at least my cycle of friends, or even over the media and stuff, for some reason, people had so much of positivity about that test that something will happen, something good will happen. So so many Indian fans hoping that something good will happen in Sydney was good to watch about it. So that's the excitement. The second part is that, I mean, credit to Australia as well, that they declared at the right time. They were hoping for a result. And every session, but both the teams fought session by session. Actually, they had everything. Sydney was played session by session because they thought they had a good start, but then after the first day, second day, we got them back in, and then we went step by step. So every session was very interesting. That's the best part. We watched this test match session by session, not by day by day. It was pretty much session by session that we watched, and that's what test match is about. Now, at the end of the day, who wins more sessions, the result is in favor of them.
I must add, actually, Vinod, he's also one of the one of those rare optimists, when it comes to Indian cricket as well, that he posted a picture. He made a collage, the previous day, day before the final day began, and you can see it in his Twitter and Facebook as well, and I retweeted as well. He had a collage of Kumble bowling in a broken jaw with a bandage, Lakshman, batting with a broken back, Sachin broken back, and then Yuvraj Singh, vomiting blood on the ground while batting. So he was saying, come on, who will be the next hero? Who will be the next, warrior? Right. So credit to him. I wanted to mention that as well. Thank you, Vinod.
And you know what? The collage would be nicer. He's going to show the broken, not a broken this thing, the foot. I mean, injured leg of VIhari, and probably a bruised.
Absolutely. I commented it. At the end of the game, I commented to his post and said, we now have a 5th picture for your collage. For the next series, whenever we play, we need to bring in these 2 guys. Ashwin, Rishabh Pant, broken arm, Ashwin, broken back. I mean, apparently he wasn't able to, he was crawling in the room. This night. You should read that article by his wife, Preeti Narayan. Amazing article. I've never read something like that from a family member, like an inside view of, how the player would behave and how he would be thinking or how he would go about his routines in the middle of a test match, like the 4th night of it. It's amazing. Just read it. Just look up, Preeti and Ashwin, and you will know. And hamstring. He has a grade 3 tear, VIhari. So I'm pretty sure
grade 3. I thought it was grade 2.
He will not be playing for even for against England for sure.
Yeah, he's probably done about 2 months. And
unfortunately, I mean he's probably won't be playing in home tests, which is also unfortunate. He cannot really stat pad. He won't have a high average or a he will never be a man of the match or whatever. But I mean he is one of those unsung heroes. But I mean he's not a perfect test player. Just because of that one day. I mean we know, some of us were like, is he?
Do we know the extent of the injury for Ashwin?
Sorry?
Anybody know the extent of injury for Ashwin?
Ashwin should be fine for England. England series. So, I mean, Ashwin and Bumrah are precautionary
probably rest. They needed rest.
Yeah, because they are more important for the England series again.
And, look, they have been playing continuously for 5.5 months. IPL and this, and they played T20, they played everything.
Yes. So, on a lighter note, I must add, how many of you know that Australia considers 87 as a very unlucky number? Did you guys know?
Right.
Just like England considers 111 the Nelson number. Australia has these 87. I mean, I don't want to get into that legendary story about it. I know it's because Keith Miller as a kid, when he was watching Don Bradman playing a perfect innings. Out of the blue, he just got out at 87, and it stuck in his head. And Keith Miller was the one who started this 87 as a taboo, and he saw a couple more incidents where 87 brought them bad luck, especially for Australian cricket, not the entire country.
The other reason is they're 13 away from the 100.
13 away from 100.
So that's another thing that they don't like it.
Yeah, but look at that. They won their first World Cup in 1987. Right? but anyway, I tweeted soon after Australia declared their 3rd innings. It was exactly after 87 overs. And I said, I don't think it looks good for Australia.
Hold on. Come to this panel, but real quick.
Yes.
Australia won the Reliance Cup. That was 1987.
87, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So
why would that be?
They still believe 87 is bad for them. I mean, not as bad as 13 or 111, but I mean it's becoming more of a banter.
Let's hope today's 87 for 3.
81 for 2 now. There you go.
6 more runs to go.
5 more runs to go.
Yeah. And apparently Australia has lost quite a few test matches by 87 runs. So I don't know. There's something about Australian cricket and 87. Anyway, that was just a lighter note because you mentioned about the the timing of the declaration. I just felt if only Payne had batted for one more over or one less over, result might have been different for them. I don't know. All right. Vinay, the youngest T20 generation kid, is going to now rave about Test match. And you guys, if you don't know this boy Vinay, he's probably the youngest Test cricket fan that you will ever meet. I don't see anyone younger than him loving Test match so much. Go ahead, Vinay.
No, that's
Especially
right.
one who is not in India.
Yeah.
No, I've been watching Test cricket for like almost 20 years now or so. But I mean, it's definitely it's its own beauty, and it's good to see that these kind of matches happening and us getting like I don't want to say it's like a resurgence of Test cricket, but there has been more results in the last couple of years, and that it is getting a little bit more credit, and now there's context to it, and now even draws are exciting, right? So it's bringing back that lust for this kind of cricket. And so for me, like, it was awesome to watch. And you guys have known in all the past calls like how much I defend and how biased I am for what players I like and which ones I don't. When it comes to players like VIhari or Pujara finally getting a little bit of accolades here, because if it weren't for the same people that are going to get mad at them for their strike rate or the way that they play and whatever, these are the same people that are on your background now that were the heroes of the match, right? I appreciate that a lot, because that is that grit, that patience. That's the beauty of Test cricket, and it really falls on deaf ears until they actually get a knock that wins or draws a Test match like this. And it kind of, like they say the phrase like to shut the haters up or something. This really shuts up the haters, because it's the same way that Pujara batted and won us the series 2 years ago in 2018 is what he's been doing now, but he's getting a lot of flack for, right? So for them to get this result and for this to happen, I appreciate it a lot, and it was very happy for me to see. I mean, and I know we can talk about this, this ad nauseum, but to change gears a little bit, maybe the spoiled part of me would have loved to see if we could have even pulled off a victory, right? I mean, if it weren't for the hamstring, I think that we were definitely in play for a victory, because it would have probably come down to like 20, 30, 40, 50 runs and in that last maybe 10 overs or 1 hour session. So that would have been awesome to see. I would have loved that, because especially because Pant set us up for that, right? Like, his innings was such a accelerated, almost at 100 strike rate innings that really it wasn't just a let's try to even draw this match, to it became he put victory even in sight for us to even have that conversation. So to see that through would have been such an awesome thing, I think. And it also, one thing I will say is it really reminded me what, like, those matches that you remember that you've seen and you love. The match that really that came to my mind while watching this one was Mohali 2010 against Australia, when Lakshman and Ojha yelled at Ojha, and they finally, they won by 1 wicket. It was one of the most fantastic Test matches in the last 20 years. If you guys haven't seen that, you have to go watch. But the reason I bring that up is, number one, it was against Australia. Number two, even with the injury, what if the rule had been that you can have a runner? I still think that we would have probably come close if we could have had a runner substitute for VIhari. That would have been such a cool result to see, even if we had drawn, or at least if the victory was still in play. And that's why I thought of 2010 Mohali, because that was such a vivid memory in my mind watching that match. And it was one of the, definitely up there. Kolkata is probably the best for sure. This was up there for me too. I would have loved to see that, and I love to, if you guys would humor me, love to play the what if game. If you were to watch that last 2 sessions again and see all the runs that we, forego or like we didn't take, I wonder how close we would actually be to that total, because they played their shots and everything. So anyways, it is a what if game, but I mean, a beautiful Test match to say the least. And I'm glad that my boys are getting the credit that they deserve for playing true Test match cricket.
I know.
My boys, and especially, Pujara VIhari, because I mean, VIhari was, conversations to be dropped for the 4th Test at this point if it weren't for that knock. So I mean, I'm a happy camper, and I definitely, that was a great match to watch. So
awesome.
So, like what it is I think the bottom line is it's not the Hardik Pandya's kind of batting. I'm not saying putting. See, people go to the stadium to watch those. Probably in the contrary to that, people should go to watch this game. How those two batted. I tell you, it's pure bliss in my opinion. I loved it. I mean, I would probably watch 5 days of cricket if something similar would happen. If there was something either something by is saving a Test or winning a test or whatever that is, if there is something it meant to.
So
That's
actually,
right.
let me ask you this
And
then.
especially it was not one-sided at all.
Then question Somo and Shankar, Itara match, yes, it's great to watch, but is it one of those matches where it's a better spectacle to watch it over TV than in the ground?
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
See,
now TV has come into
because
the
you
picture.
can see their grimaces
Correct.
and the
Correct.
pain in their faces, maybe, and I don't know.
Sitting in SCG, we wouldn't have enjoyed it as much. I can guarantee you that. Okay.
How unfortunate is that?
Somo, maybe if you had a tablet big enough, you log in, you sit on the ground and watch it.
Yeah, I tell you. Yeah, the beauty of watching cricket live in Lords or SCG or Oval or whatever that is, that's a different atmosphere. That's a pure love of cricket. But as you said, Kashyap, sitting, and I was watching on a 75-inch television. I tell you, that was the best thing. The grimaces, the
TV you feel that you're more closer to Ashwin.
You're more closer.
Yes, he's out.
I have to interrupt and tell 87 for 3, Washington Sundar into the attack. Vinod called it live. Let's give him the credit.
See, 87. There you go. 87.
Let's say 87 for 3.
Yes.
87 for 3. Vinod called it. Washington Sundar into the attack, and it worked.
All right. Back to it though. Somo.
Yeah.
So tell me this. Which of the games you think, what kind of a game is better suited to watch in the stadium versus TV?
Look, see.
Or you can just pick one game that you have already watched and say, you know what, I'm so glad I watched it in the stadium and not in TV.
You know what? The 87 not out Vishwanath 1974 in Madras when they played Rabur. I think that is the best ever test cricket I watched in my entire career. What a knock he played, and what a kind of bowling Prasanna did to get these people a few outs. I think, to me, 1987, Vishwanath's 97 not out was the best test cricket. And the second one, I would say, I watched Marquardt, Steve Waugh, Ponting, and all getting runs in Oval. And a beautiful game. And watching cricket in Oval is probably the best because you're sitting with the play. You're as though you're watching while fielding a deep mid on, deep mid wicket, deep mid off, whatever that is. That's how beautiful it is. Those are the two I think I would have preferred to watch in the stadium.
Sorry to interrupt, Kashyap. I think we should download this video. I'll create a clip of what
I
conversation
know,
we had.
exactly.
It's going to go viral.
It is about 87, man. We need to change the topic of this edition to say Australia 87.
Hey, 87 and it should be Gavaskar against Pakistan, right? Is that what
Illa, sir.
We are talking about something else.
97 not out. Not 87. 97 not out.
Somo.
So Vinay, I have a couple of notes actually. You brought in some excellent points. I wrote it down.
Sure.
So regarding that rule change about runner, right? So there were two new rules that kind of balanced out our situation. One, yes, no runner meant VIhari could not get a runner, but just 2 years ago there was this rule for the first time: a substitute can keep. And remember, that's why we could get Saha. We got the best of both worlds. We got Saha to keep and Pant to bat, which is amazing.
You know what? They are saying
I
Indians
beg to
cheated.
differ.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಶಂಕರ್ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಲೆಟ್ ಮಿ ಫಿನಿಶ್ ಸೊ ಅದಾಗಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀರು ಏನಾಗಿರೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಇಫ್ ಸಾಹಾ ಕುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕೀಪ್ ದಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅದರ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ವಿಹಾರಿ ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ವಿಹಾರಿ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಕೆಪ್ಟ್
He would have batted.
It would have been hamstring already, right?
Yeah, he would have batted off.
So you never know. And another thing, Pant batting the way that he did, and thank you for bringing that up. I think that was a calculated, that was a planned attack, because no one can, you cannot really just bat out 131 overs for a draw starting from the first over. So you have to go for a win, because it was enough. It's not like you're chasing 600 runs, right? 400 from 130 overs it's not even extraordinary. It's general. You bat out 131 overs, 8 out of 10 times you will win, right? You will score 400. But yeah, I mean, because of the hamstring and all the delay, it happened. So I think that was a good move, because you would have anyway lost it if you had just gone for a draw. So
No,
that happened.
but think about it this way though,
Yeah.
right? It does not look good for a so-called person who was that injured to come and bat when
No,
he
no,
could.
no.
Let me finish.
Keeping all day is different.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. The guy, they were claiming that he could not come and keep.
Yeah.
And he did not keep for the whole session.
Whole day.
But
Whole day.
Let me finish. But then after that, he gets promoted to come and bat. And yes, he came at
sure,
much early, and the way he batted, it did not look as if he had any injury at all.
That was his arm.
Yeah, I know, but that same arm, the way he was batting, it doesn't look as if he was hurt. Okay, now, just 3 days. Yes.
No, here is the thing. Here's the thing. You know, there are plenty of Facebook arguments I saw from Australians who live here in the Bay Area. They're claiming he cheated. Basically, Indians cheated.
Okay, sure. But what I'm saying is, remember, he got 2 nights of rest as well, and 1 whole day of the day.
Look, in the modern,
keeping and catching every ball. I mean, it's a test match too. So majority of the balls will be just coming through to the keeper, right? So resting and not keeping on the 4th day will definitely help. And yeah, I mean, yes.
Look, Kashyap, with the 2 days not being in the field and not catching, not running, not doing anything, and with the modern medicine, you certainly can come back in 2 days.
I think so too. Yeah.
So look. Who did anybody anticipate that situation will ever arise? Nobody did, because they're playing for the day.
I just have.
So go ahead, Vindy.
I have one question. I have to read about it. I don't know about this rule there. If you sit out and you're substituted as a keeper, right? The duration you have not batted, a max has not fielded, the same substitute rule should apply.
Number
if you
5.
have not fielded,
number 5. After number
5, though.
Even if you're so you cannot open or come at number 3 or 4, but it's 2 things. One, a certain number of overs, or after number 5, let's say if Rohit Sharma had sat out the whole innings, he could not have come at least until number 5, like after 3.
5, yeah.
That's exactly
so what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is every rule book was checked off. There is no question of anything that was cheating.
No.
Every little rule book item was checked off.
Okay, guys, I'm not saying, but please don't get me wrong. I wasn't saying they were cheating or anything like that. All I was saying was that for a guy who supposedly could not come and field at all, could not come and keep at all for a whole day, because to me, keep in mind, I'm a big fan of Saha. He got the short end of the stick, right?
No, why? Look,
for this.
It was a great day to keep, and he got 4 catches. So he will be enjoying. He will be thankful that he was able to
but this test, right? They put in Mayank Agarwal, right? They could have easily gone with Saha.
Look, Shankar, let me tell you, don't confuse the 2 equations, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
He kept wickets because Pant was unavailable to keep wickets because of his injury. Okay, he took 48 hours rest, and with the modern medicine and everything else, and he was able to come back and play that game, and especially after 5 down. Okay, having said that, now this has nothing to do with Saha not playing. It was purely. They wanted 7 batsmen to play because they had 5 bowlers and they wanted some batting strength. So Mayank was a better shot than Saha. Not that Saha is a bad batsman, but I would have preferred Saha to play this test, but that's not the point, because they went with a set of direction they wanted to, but that had nothing to do with anything that happened in Sydney, or for that matter, nothing to do with Pant's injury, and he sat out and Saha could keep wicket. No, those are all 3 separate.
Just to add to that one point, I remember Shastri once saying this, and I don't know if even Deepdas Gupta was saying this, is that we've being conservative and gone with 4 bowlers, and if any of the 2 batsmen land up having a good day for Australia or something, our bowling side gets depleted completely. I very well remember.
Yeah.
When Sachin kept turning towards Srinath, who bowled, I remember just before lunch, 21 overs he bowled. as a pace bowler, right? Between
Rotate
fast
or
and
cuff for
20.
Murdak Batao, no?
Yeah, I still remember after that incident, Srinath took a break from cricket and he actually came to write his exams in Mysore.
I know.
And
We met
saw
him
him
in
every
JCE.
day
Yeah.
having the string and doing exercise while coming and writing his exams. And that series where Sachin just kept bowling Srinath, it happens. When you go with 4 bowler, it's going to happen. So
Go ahead.
So you need to have 5 bowlers. So if you're going to have 5 bowlers, we need batting depth. The only concern I have that I'm agreeing with Shankar or Vinay is that if we land up having to do a VIhari again, you don't have anybody, right?
Yeah.
Right.
If you have to play like a VIhari or somebody to save this Brisbane Test match, you don't have. And Saha was that person. If
Right.
Saha was there, he would have been that
This won't be
person.
a draw.
Look,
I'm still sticking with my 2-1 prediction.
Look,
What is that?
Vinny, I'll agree with you 100%. But the odds of that happening again is few and far in between. I'm not saying it wouldn't happen; it would. The reason is you have to go with the assumption that we need runs, we need to get wickets, not to save the test,
guys,
but to win the test.
just
let's
a quick
move on.
update.
Different topic.
Sorry, Kashyap. It
Yeah.
looks like I don't know. Maybe the Saini is doing better now, but I was thinking. I said, man, we already have another person who was injured, but
Yeah. I
fortunately
think
not.
that's why they went with 4 seamers. I know, but they're pretty
Yeah.
sure somebody will break down in the.
So first of all, I think India, first of all, went with the team they can possibly win. That's the first thing. That's how you pick a team.
Yeah.
Okay. If not, at least they want to save the test, not lose the test. That's why they
I
want
saw
7
this
batsmen
commentary
and
saying
5
that
bowls or whatever
Sani
you want to
probably
call
pulled
them.
an eagle. Sani is probably pulled an eagle. I got some in ESPN.
Okay,
Info.
just to wrap up with Pant now, back to the topic. I actually, just for that one moment when he got out, I really, really wish that he was from Mumbai and slowed down and cared for his 100. And if he had stayed, if he had stayed as a Mumbaiker, eaten some balls, got to his 100, you never know what else would have happened.
It was a very disappointing end to a great knock. Let me put
I
it
know.
that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It
That's
was
the
it
time
was
of
the
the
second
match
best
too.
97 in Test.
No,
history.
I mean, I would say that he actually brought a chance of a success or a victory in a lot we minds.
Exactly.
The way he
That
played,
is true. That is true.
right?
I think
And
without
I think
Kohli
we exchanged messages in the morning. I said if you had started the day for playing for a draw, we would have gone out by afternoon.
exactly.
You
Yes.
had to
You're
have
right.
only choice.
Yes.
You had to go for win.
Exactly.
I mean,
That's
That's
exactly what I was
Otherwise-
saying. Like, you could not bat out 130 overs for a draw. If you are thinking about a draw from the first ball, you cannot survive 130 overs.
And when
So
Grittiest
there you
used to
go.
to
Rohit
bat,
Sharma. Rohit Sharma is into the attack. He's the third most experienced bowler because he has 2 test wickets.
Oh, is Sani out? Is Sani injured now?
Yeah.
Saini, he left the ground. I don't know if he's out of the match, but
No, but I surely hope that what Somo said about our not magic, modern medicine, that they can help him.
yeah.
Because that's the other problem I have is that all these people, so-called, they exercise regularly and all that stuff, but still seem to be able to get injured. If they get hit by a ball, that is one thing.
Yeah, they're
But
like,
No, Shankar.
it's not that they're
Shankar.
originally
Shankar.
fit.
They have played non-stop cricket for 5.5
Not
months
easy.
after not playing cricket for almost a
Also,
year.
with all the quarantine and bio bubble
Okay.
and whatnot.
Bio bubble. There's a lot of things going on.
And Justin
you cannot.
Justin
you
Langer
only-
clearly told.
Yeah.
It takes a huge
Even
toll.
from
You cannot
Australia,
get-
right? Stoinis, Pukowski,
Everybody.
even Warner. There are some injuries everywhere.
And,
I mean,
look,
you
and
cannot-
also they have not been in the field for almost a year since last
Yeah.
February or March or whatever that is. So it takes a toll on your body, and when you're playing a competitive sport like that, it definitely does. And I wouldn't doubt. I'm surprised that all the 4 Australian fast bowlers are holding on as long as
No.
they are.
I know.
I tell
Okay.
you, that's a miracle. But
I
let's
see.
move on.
Before we change the topic, one
Okay.
last question again on Pant. How many of you are now a Pant convert? Are you?
No, I
Are
am not. No. I still think Pant plays irresponsibly in a lot of times.
Yeah, he's 21. So let's give him some
it-
slack. Let's
No.
cut him some slack.
It
He's
doesn't
21.
matter. To me,
Okay, Shankar, I have a point taken.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, like him or not, he is the future. He will be the Indian test keeper. right? Unless he's injured. And Saha is 36. I don't see him playing the Lord's final if we qualify.
Yes.
I don't think he will even play the home tests against England. So we might have seen the last of Saha. I'm not saying, I mean, for good or worse, that's how it will be.
As good a wicketkeeper he is, and also, in the future of Indian cricket is with the young cricketers.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
could be Pant, or it could be somebody else. I don't know.
Will be there. And, how many of you know that, how much Dhoni improved as a keeper in tests as well, right? I mean, he was not perfect. And I mean, he was never a perfect pace wicket keeper, jumping around like Saha, even in England or Australia. But he had different dimensions that he brought.
But I thought we have
compare. But
I thought we have a few more. We have a few more keepers. I hope.
No,
right?
Not for the test.
Not for the test.
You have to accept Pant and move on.
I'll add a couple other points because you guys know I'm not that big of a Pant fan, but hopefully I'll convert soon. One, I want to give credit to Rahane, right, for promoting him because it took him to think, having a Pujara and a VIhari at the crease at the same time, they might get stuck and they might go into that shell. And, so it's not even about, let's try to win this test match. It's about having the correct combination of people out on the pitch at the same time. So credit to Rahane for sending him. And the right-left combo for whatever that is worth, right? So the right-left combo too. So he put Pant in a position to go succeed the way that he did, and Pant grasped the opportunity with both hands. So that's one thing I'll say. The second thing I'll say, though, now to Shankar Uncle's point is the immaturity and this and that. Yes, I do agree. A great innings from him, but it was just such an awkward time to get out, right? If he had just seen off, he just needed a bat maybe 30 more minutes, get his 100, see off the new ball, make it to lunch. If he just did those three things, a victory was clearly in sight. But he got out at the perfect time where the new ball was just coming, lunch still hadn't been taken, and he missed out a century too. So it's like it just takes that, and I don't know, maybe Pujara was telling him in the middle, hey, take it easy, slow down, or maybe he was just saying play your natural game. We don't know, right? But it just so happens
maybe he said, like you said, I think it was the latter, like I'll hold the fort, you play your game, right?
Right. So, if he just lasted 30 more minutes, I think the game would be completely different. Completely different.
We know there's a point.
Yeah, so I think just to first add to what Mr. Shankar was saying about Pant's maturity and stuff, right? I think Pant has to go back and see a lot of videos of Virender Sehwag. I think Pant, to me, is Virender Sehwag in a mold where, you need to get to a mental state that you are in the control of the game. And that's when they make sure they do really well. You need to control the game, right? And Sehwag used to try very hard to get to a state that he's controlling the game. Once he feels he's controlling the game, you will see you cannot stop him, right? So for me, that struggle, when does Pant feel that he has in the control of the game? As an audience, as a cricket fan, right? As Ashwin said, both the dressing rooms are nervous about him, right? Whereas in Sehwag, after the first 15 overs is over, we said it's our party time. So look at Sehwag, look at Rohit Sharma. If they cross certain barrier, right, then they are settled. They feel comfortable, they're in the zone. At some point, Pant should get to that where, fine, play your shots. But you find that you're in the control of the game, you're done. You're in the control of the game.
Windy, that takes another about 5 to 10 tests more to come to that level, and which you will come.
That's what I was getting at.
It's 10 more tests, he'll be a Sehwag.
Actually, those 10 tests are like 4 tests against England.
Yeah.
And then the WTC final, if you make it.
Right.
And then there's a 5-test series against England. So the 9 out of the next 10 tests are against England.
Look, he has to be in the middle and facing all the challenges, saving the game, winning the game, or protecting his wicket, or protecting his place in the team. These are all the combinations that he has to do, and which will come only through experience. It is not. It doesn't matter. Okay, it doesn't. And, he has to do it, and he has to fail a few times to overcome that part of the. He'll do it.
What do you? Somo, what do you think about Nathan Lyon's bowling?
I want to come there. I want to just come there on that.
Let's go.
So actually, let's segue into now. I think we have talked enough of the Sydney test. Let's move to the final test in Brisbane.
I just want to finish one thing, Kashyap.
Nathan Lyon's 100th test. So
go ahead, Wendy. I'll add a few more things here.
On Sydney test, that was very interesting, as Vinay said, in Sydney test, right? One of the key aspects was in Sydney, be it Shane Warne or Stuart MacGill or anybody, they all bowled only from the one end. It's always bowled from the one, spinners bowl from one end. If we had not bought Pant and got Lyon to settle on one end, it would have been a turning track. That right and left hand combination, unsettled Lyon, never in the history of Sydney cricket, the primary spinner of an Australian team had to switch ends. It was declared that that person is going to bowl from that end only. Pant's entry to that particular game actually made Lyon try both the ends, right? And that is a testimony to that biggest change that happened that day, because Lyon was not allowed to settle, right? If he had settled, you would not be having the pace bowlers in the wrong hand.
Yeah.
You know, look,
Hey, guys, sorry.
bowling at
I'm
that
going to
end.
drop off and join back again.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, bowling at the end, you know, let me tell you, the fast bowlers, Josh was Hazelwood and this thing, they were having the footmark right there where Lyon was, pitching. Okay. What it has was he was pitching. What when Pant came into the action, he was left-hander, that nullified that area of batting. Okay, that's one thing. Second thing is he couldn't pitch that. There was nothing there. What he was trying to, that's one thing that really, not only Pant created that being a left-hander, Pant created because he hit pretty freely. He did not spare anybody. He did not spare Stark, Hazelwood, or Cummins. And of course, he really went after Nathan Lyon. Anyway, that negated everything. As Windy said, switching ends, as you said, never has happened in Sydney, and Pant made it happen. And also the advantage of the footmarks, he could not use it. That really turned the tide against Australia. Otherwise, they would have had a much better shot of getting them out.
Actually, for Lyon, the most important footmarks are from Stark because of the left-hander who comes over the wicket. It's easy from the other end to do that, and we have been lucky to have kept Stark silent. In this series, he hasn't been that kind of a devastating bowler that he can be, and maybe he's carrying some niggle or whatever, because he doesn't look to be in very springy action, and he doesn't look too enthusiastic to be bowling.
But Kashyap,
which is good for us.
We got a wicket.
But
We got a wicket, fourth wicket down.
Last spell.
Wade is
last
out.
spell.
Matthew Wade is out.
Oh, okay.
This is
No,
good.
sorry. That was a different game.
They're
Sorry.
still showing Warner replay.
No. That's a different game. Yes.
Yeah.
So look, as I said, let's talk about Lions 100 the test. That's
So
pretty
today
good for a
is his
spinner, for an
100th
off spinner in Australia.
Yeah, it's I mean he's already number 4 in the most wickets. He's playing his 100th test, and he needs only 4 wickets to complete 400.
Yeah,
I hope it doesn't happen in this game. So, but yeah, I wish him all the luck for the future games. Surprisingly, Lyon also has not been in the wickets as much as he would generally be, at home and also against India. Cummins is bowling. Cummins has been the main guy, I think, avoiding the defeats for Australia, if I must add. It's been 1-1. At the end of 3 tests, that one session where we lost 8 wickets for 21 runs, where we eventually became, ended up 36 for 9, technically. There's nothing much actually that Australia can boast of, outside. It's 1-1. They won the test because of that. They even conceded the lead to India in the first game as well. They lost the second one, and this one, yes, they were slightly ahead. But if you take the innings backwards, then you can also say Steve Smith scores 100 and saved the match for Australia, because that was the first inning. So, but anyway, so what I'm saying is, apart from that session and Steve Smith's 100, and of course there's been consistent batting from Labuschagne or Labuschagne.
I will have Labuschagne buy my next lottery, man. This guy he's played good cricket, but he's not been the luckiest cricketer for this whole series.
Not today. I'm waiting. Was that Rahane's drop off of?
Rahane drop.
There you go. Yeah.
Look, coming back to this thing, Stark, the last spell that he had after tea, closing towards the close of the game, that was a phenomenal play. I mean, if only Payne had taken that catch, something would have probably materialized too. Not that, one catch doesn't really.
For me, Pat Cummins has been a standout star.
Yes,
Pat Cummins
exactly.
has been
Yeah,
the standout
Cummins has
star.
been the
Oh,
one
there's no question.
standing between. Yeah,
He's
So-
the number one.
And Hazelwood has taken
people have
very
been
timely
saying-
wickets.
yeah.
And people
Yeah.
have been saying about Australia's sportsmanship and stuff and etc. But I think they just played good. All the 4 bowlers, they bowled
Yeah.
phenomenally well.
Yeah.
They
And
did everything right.
credit must go to VIhari for batting out, to keep Stark away in that amazing final spell. There were so many Yorkers and that outside of good length balls that, yes, he still nicked one. Unfortunately for Australia, Payne did not catch it. But yeah, what a spell that was, and what a gritty
Yeah, I think we could talk about him dropping Pant twice, almost in succession. To
Yes.
that one during the game. I mean, there's several things that happened. Lucky for India that he dropped. That was a good game. Otherwise, probably it would have been very difficult for either one of those catches were held. So
But
a lot of things.
We have to give credit to him. When the incidents happened, he came first and he actually was with the Indian players when
Correct.
the incident of abuse and stuff happened. So when the abuse was happening in the boundary and stuff, right? Tim Payne actually made sure everybody was fine. So I mean, the slight banters and stuff happened, but overall,
okay.
as
Yeah,
just
he's not
players of
nasty.
Australian
Yeah.
players, right? They were all in their limits. Matthew Wade looked a bit weird doing certain things, but
Yeah.
overall, I think they've been fantastic players. This is not the bullying Australian team that we know about.
That's true.
They've
Yeah.
been just
And
very
Payne,
professional.
I think, is generally, he's generally a very nice guy. And even these banters and whatever he was talking about, it was kind of maybe silly, and it got to him, and he started dropping catches and stuff like that. But I mean, he's never been nasty and mean
No.
to anybody.
And you know what?
And,
Look,
it's now getting boring. He just keeps talking about, I have more friends, or nobody likes you, or it says the same things, but whatever works for him, right? So
I know what I think the entire reason for everybody to be nice, though they banter and everything else, IPL has created a different kind of culture because they all play together. Tomorrow morning, they're all in Pune playing with each other. So
exactly.
whatever that is, I think that is the one that has created a tremendous amount of respect for each other, and they all know the people, even though they talk smack on the field. They're all good people. You don't want to go against good people when they are good people. So that's what I think. That's one that has changed tremendously.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Just if you notice that with Natarajan's pace, they have gotten to terms with where to stand. You should just look at where Labushan is standing.
Yeah.
He's standing 2 meters away, and for Natarajan. So a 5 kilometers per hour speed decrease can give you a once crease worth of confidence to come out. He's negating Natarajan's swing completely.
Completely. He's what, about a foot ahead of the crease? Foot or maybe foot and a half.
more than that, a meter away.
Is that right?
So talking about Nattu, actually, I mean, that was my concern as well. Whenever I was thinking that he's in the bench squad, that is he fit enough to bowl 20 overs in a day? I mean, has he ever bowled more than 4 overs in a day? He's been a good addition to the white ball teams, but I mean, again, there was no other.
You know what? Go ahead. I want Vinay and Windy to talk about. I have some points against Natarajan. I mean, you guys go ahead, and I'll say a couple of things.
Yeah. Vinay, Natarajan.
No, go ahead, Vinod.
Oh, is it drinks? Okay. Yeah, Natarajan, I think this time the choice for a test cricket is you pick what you have, right? And just for horses for courses, the only thing that I felt would work in this particular selection, it works is what in test cricket is, if the pitch yields you, then Natarajan will do well, right? And if the pitch doesn't yield you, I don't think so. That was a good choice by not playing him in Sydney, because Sydney, you need the hit the deck bowlers for the ball to bounce. Brisbane, it's going to bounce. As soon as it dries and cracks up, it'll do its part. So even if he's given a responsibility to just contain, I think his responsibility is to contain. Play second fiddle to Washington Sundar to get some wickets, and just contain one side so that others can get wicket. And if he happens to get wickets, he gets it. So if he cannot contain, that's a disaster.
I think reverse swing may also come into action in this game. So maybe Nattu might be handy later.
You might, if at all you can get to the top order, getting the tail will be very useful. We've been struggling to get the tail as well, so Nattu will be very useful to get the tail off. So, but at the end of the day, I think overall from a team selection perspective, this 5-bowler equation is pretty good.
Yeah.
If the batsman had provided some confidence, it could have been a Kuldeep over Washington. But the way things have happened, none of the openers have gone above 50 runs. The way we don't have that confidence to say that we can go with 5 batsmen or 6 batsmen.
I think it's also the inexperience of the seamers. So if Bumrah was there, then it could have been a different equation. But without Bumrah, like just now we saw that Saini went out. So I think that's why they packed with an additional seamer, then having 2 spinners. Instead of 3+2, they went with 4+1 because they know that it will end up being 3+1. Somebody will have a very poor game or maybe a bad niggle or whatever. So they're playing it safe. But again, it's the best possible they could do. I'm happy with the team anyway. It's yes, I feel sorry for Kuldeep. Somewhere he could have come in, but yeah.
But I'm glad when I have anything to say about
because 2 Tamil Nadu players debuting today, Sundar and Natarajan, and imagine if Ashwin was also there. But anyway, 2 and then the 5-man bowling attack. 3 of them are from RCB.
It's all Tamil. You know what? If the Ashwin was there, it's all Tamil conversation, nothing else.
I know, yeah. So 3 RCB, 1 SRH, Nattu, and 1 CSK, Shardul Thakur. So
but
imagine 5
this
South
though.
Indian IPL attack.
Correct, but just think about it. If they talk in Tamil, they're trying to figure out what the hell these people are talking about, which is really good. You can use it to your advantage.
Yeah. Look, I have my theory.
Rahane's catch drop was an easy catch, I think.
Yeah,
it's going to be
I have my theory on Natarajan. Natarajan is obviously a great T20 bowler.
Yeah.
The kind of bowling that he does in T20 does really not help in Test cricket because there's a long format. He has to bowl 20 overs on any given day. I don't know whether he has the ability to do that because that doesn't mean that he doesn't. I don't know that.
Yeah.
And he has only played maybe 10 or 20 first-class cricket, that is 3-day cricket, 4-day cricket, Ranji Trophy. So he hasn't much played for first-class cricket. He doesn't have so much behind him to prove one way or the other. And obviously, they took a chance. His fresh face. They haven't played him much, and he has gotten plenty of wickets in the T20 and I think 2 or 3 in 50 over. They're banking on some surprise. He might get a wicket or 2, which otherwise he wouldn't have.
Somo. He's got some pretty good Yorker length balls, so
correct,
that might come in handy.
T20 work
and lower, just Yorkers.
Test work agala.
Yeah. No, correct. But once in a while, if he springs one, it doesn't hurt, alwa.
Correct.
No,
get it. But
he'll be valuable to remove the tail. He'll be very valuable to remove the tail.
Yeah. And also, mind you, they don't have to score in Test match. It's not like it's 19.3 overs. They have all day, all week. So
right.
That's it. You see, it works only when you are bowling at 150 kilometers an hour. That the Wasim Akrams of the industry or the Bretleys of the industry, those are the bowlers who bowl and they bowl in accuracy. He's good for 220, but there is no, not that he won't.
No.
I'm not saying that. So
but the thing is,
just to add to that point, right? What has happened in Test cricket is that if you go to one-day cricket, right? One-day cricket or T20, you go slashing hard on the offside and getting runs is a scoring it's a scoring shot,
opportunity,
right? It's a scoring shot. What happens in Test cricket is because people are worried about their half stump line that gets their wicket. If you see people like Steve Smith, everybody, they play in actually 4th stump or they take a 4th stump guard. As soon as the ball is bowled, they move to the 4th stump. So what happens here is now they are well prepared to play. They are planning to say anything outside off stump or even on the stump is my leg side scoring shot. If you look at Smith, right? Smith scored almost 60% of the run in the leg side. Yeah. So then the Yorker is negated. You have to be so good to get him leg before, right? So in the Test cricket, the pretty much negated Yorker as a wicket-taking ball is out. Neither the Trent Bolts or anybody else are getting.
What I'm saying is, historically, India has always had a problem getting rid of the tail, right? They'll get 7 wickets down and then they struggle. They'll get 9 wickets down and then they'll struggle.
Not just India.
To add to Vinny's point, you know what? The thing is, when you are bowling outside the off stump or whatever, obviously it negates what he said. Let's say if he doesn't cover the off stump, or let's say he stands in the middle or maybe in the off, and he really cannot slash to get runs in like one day cricket, because there's a 2 slips in a gully and
Correct.
they can catch it. So,
Yes.
and a Cameron Gill, how many he stopped in the last Sydney test, and he got a good catch. And how many he stopped? My goodness, everything was going to him. So
Yeah,
I think it negates the whole thing. That's why I think Natarajan could be. I mean, I don't want to say that. I'm probably speaking way too early. It negates everything, and it's going to be difficult for him to be the bowler that he was in T20.
So, Somana, did you watch the Sri Lankan opening batting yesterday against England?
Oh, a little bit. I watched the highlight. Oh my goodness!
I was so shocked that a guy in Test cricket, when 2 wickets have already fallen down and the only runs is like 20-25, the guy goes for a reverse sweep. You know, and top edge down to.
But again, Shankar, if it comes off, it will be wow. Audacious shot. So
yes,
you cannot really talk as a post.
No, I think even if it comes out, it still falls in the draw of stupidity.
Right,
exactly. Thank you.
It is
because I thought that was such
stupidity when you say I'm going to do a reverse sweep for when I'm going to try this 20 for 1 right?
Yeah, that's why I was thinking. I said, man, why are you even trying to do this? You already have 2 wickets down.
Yeah.
Why do it?
The reason is it.
So back to our Indian bowling. Just some statistics to throw here. The Indian bowling attack right now. See where we started with. We started with Bumrah, Shami, Umesh, and Ashwin. None of them are playing in this test for the first time. And of all the places in Gabba, where Australia has never lost since 1988.
88.
And in that 88 game, when they lost, they had Marshall, Ambrose, Walsh, and Bishop, I think.
Bishop, yeah.
So
wow.
they've come a long way. And in this game, the overall Indian bowling attack, they have 11 wickets to show. 7 for Siraj, 2 for Saini, and 2 for Rohit Sharma. No one else. Right? And the test match experience, Siraj has played 2 tests. Saini 1. Shardul Thakur 1, but he bowled only 10 balls.
10 balls.
Just like Saini.
He
got a hamstring injury and went off. So that's 10 balls. So you make it 3.1 tests. And then we have 2 debutants. So 3.1 tests between our main bowling attack with 9 wickets in total are batting against are bowling against it. I mean, basically playing against a team that has Cummins, Stark,
1,000 wickets,
and Lyon, who are considered one of the best bowling attacks in the history of
so what do you think? I mean, what's your opinion on will there be a result in this one?
There will be a result, and India will not lose. Let me say that.
Wow! Wow!
Yes.
So the good thing about this, the expectation is very low.
Yes.
The good thing is the expectation is very low. So there's only one way to do. You need to go up. I think this one catch that was dropped is going to cost us, I think.
Yeah.
Because Labuschagne, if you had taken him out, the story was very different.
Yes.
Very different. Yes. So
who dropped him?
Rahane.
Ali.
Oh, okay.
That was the ball that took Saini out.
No. But it was Rahane, right? Rahane dropped the catch.
But that was Saini's ball. But that was his last ball. Instead of Labuschagne, Saini went into the pavilion. Anyway, so but one more statistics on 88, right? Since 88, in that same series against West Indies, that was the last game Australia finished an innings without an individual 50 at home.
Correct.
Imagine that.
Mm.
And the next time it happened was in Melbourne against India, the previous day. So we can break records from 88. So let's see. All right. With that, I think was there any other topic? I've covered all my topics I wanted.
No, I just wanted to bring up something earlier when Somu said that watching the game at the ground is just an amazing Andrala.
Right.
I had the fortune of watching a game in Lords for just, I think, 2.5 hours, because I had a flight to catch at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was determined to go watch at Lords. I didn't get a ticket. I went and stood and waited till everybody was let in. And then they said, okay, for people who didn't show up, atra on the tickets iruttala. I think I paid like 75 pounds or whatever. But to me, it is the best experience, because literally, I mean, ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಅನ್ಸ್ತಿ ಓಯ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ I could, you could tell the fielder. ಅಷ್ಟತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ. It was just, Somo, I agree with you. That experience.
Hey, on the same note, the World Cup cricket is going to happen in June. Hopefully, the COVID and everything is gone. If you guys want to watch the World Cup cricket test there, and think about it, we still have 4 or 5 months, and if you're up to it, I think if and again, if you can travel, I think I'll go. I'm sure Vinay will jump in the plane too. So if you guys are up to it, we'll talk about it and we will make it an event for all of us.
Yeah,
That's a fantastic.
If it's allowed, if it's safe to fly, I think I may too. Let's see.
Yeah.
So
India has to first make the World T20.
I know. Oh yeah, let me talk about that too.
Yeah,
so
let's talk about that.
Yeah, so WTC, World Test Cricket Championship, that's going on. The finals will be played by the top 2 teams in June in Lords, right? So there were 9 teams, and every team was supposed to play 6 series each, 3 series at home and 3 series away. So they will, every team will not play 2 other teams, and which is okay. But because of COVID, so many of couple of series
Got cancelled.
So what they now did was they changed the rule and said there will be a percentage tracker that will tell you how many points you accrued out of how many points you could have, right, out of the maximum. So from that point, now Australia top, India, if it was just the points, India is way ahead. But because none of the Indian series got cancelled, but many of the other teams got cancelled, and luckily for Australia, 2 of their away series got cancelled. So they have 2-0 against Pakistan, 3-0 against New Zealand at home, and now whatever happens against India. And the Ashes was 2-2 in England. Anyway, so Australia is now number 1 because they have 73% of points, whereas India is number 2, and New Zealand's series is complete. They are not going to play anymore. They have 70%. So for India to beat New Zealand by at least coming number 2 is that out of the 5 remaining tests, this one against Australia and then 4 more against England, we have to win 4. It's okay to lose. Yeah, it's okay to lose 1 if we win 4, or you win 3 and draw 2.
Right.
You cannot win 3 and lose 1.
They cannot lose 1 at all.
Yeah. No, well, if you lose 1, you need to win the 4.
4, yeah, I mean, yeah.
So you lose Gabba, you win 4-0 against England, you're through.
Right.
Oh.
Whatever.
They have to be undefeated at home now.
Or draw Brisbane and then beat 3-0 against England. Great. So that's the equation. England has a very bleak chance if they beat 2-0 Sri Lanka and also 4-0 India. They can also make it, which is, it doesn't look that
tough. Especially they're playing in India.
Even if England wins the series, they like 2-0, 2-1 or whatever against India, it's not going to cut it. So Australia and New Zealand, they are looking practically more doable. And considering Australia has a great record in Lords already, and New Zealand, who are famous for losing finals, we already can predict what we can predict what the result could be. But anyway, we'll get to the WTC in another time. Let me wrap this up. Thank you everybody for joining one of the great test matches that we witnessed, and hopefully another cracker of a match at hands. And of course, I'll not end this session without a round of predictions. Somana, result of the match.
Australia leading 2-1 at the end of the series.
Vinay?
I would say Australia 2-1 also, but I'm hoping for India 2-1. So we'll see.
Shankar?
Unfortunately, I'll have to go with what Somu said as well. But I think India will give them a good fight if their first innings runs are scored. I would say right now it looks more like Australia 2-1.
Let me be the other guy. India 2-1.
Yeah.
Depends on the next session that's going to happen.
Exactly.
I think the third session of day 2 will be the crucial one, and I think that's when we'll decide where it stands. So third session, day 2.
Third
That's
session
what
of day 2 is when Rohit Sharma will raise his bat after scoring 200.
Yeah, I don't know. Third session, day 2 will determine how the game is going to go.
All right. So
Kashyap, I wish your words come true, man.
Yeah, the only reason I'm going to.
And I'm not generally just blindly optimistic. I mean I accept when we lose, but somehow I have a feeling we are not going to lose this game. And I'm still I mean, before India landed in Australia, I had predicted it will be 2-1 in all 3 series. So T20 was 2-1, one day was 2-1, of course, with 2 different teams. It was shared. I'm still sticking with 2-1. And remember, there is rain predicted for day 4 and 5. So,
Really? I didn't know that.
If you guys are afraid of a loss, just pray that you survive 3 days, and we can have a draw. And
that's exactly why I said. That's exactly why I said third session, day 2.
Yeah.
You will know the story.
My goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. We will be back next week analyzing the series result.
There is a message. There is a message in 87 for 3 today for us. So
exactly.
Hopefully it continues.
Seriously,
can you believe that? 5 minutes later?
I know.
My goodness.
87 is my new magic number now.
Yeah, I know. When Payne declared, because see, that was a magic ball from Bumrah to bowl the last ball of the 87th over, and they got Green's wicket. If not, they were just waiting for Green to get 100.
Yeah.
Right. So he got out and they declared, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. They declared at 87 overs exactly. Done. Australia is not winning it. All right. We are done. Thank you. Sridhara is back.
We are going to create a new video, call it 87.
Yeah.
Australia, HB Cricket Panel / Windy / Vinod's prediction. Yes. And that will go 30 seconds, 40 seconds after he says, and it happened. And
oh, you don't know what else has Vinod predicted in his last 20 years.
that we can have a separate show.
I know. Vinod and his premonitions. That can be a different show.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed this session. Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
You
need to do this. This was very good.
Test cricket forever. And whoever has any doubt about the future of Test cricket, please rest up. There's Test cricket is going to survive and thrive
completely.
And that is the cricket.
Yes.
Go Whites.
Yes.
That's why I'm wearing whites today.
First class cricket. So with this, wrap up today's episode. Thank you all. Keep up the enthusiasm. Those who are watching us, and a few of them still insist on listening on radio. Thank you, ನಮ್ಮ ಶ್ರೋತೃಗಳೇ. ನೀವು ರೇಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರಿ, and comments ಹಾಕಿ Facebook ಅಲ್ಲಿ or YouTube ಅಲ್ಲಿ. We appreciate it, and thank you, team. Go team.
Yes.
Thank you.